Hi guys, it's Rebecca. Thank you so much for joining me for today's video. Today's video is going to be my makeup inventory collection part 3, I think. If I'm not mistaken, it's part 3. And these are my face palettes. These are the palettes that have several face products. I created this new category last year just because I have a lot of face palettes that I do pan as a whole, so I figured we might as well keep track of these things. Now, these palettes right here, I'm gonna divide into 2 sections. I'm gonna have the face palettes that have face products only, like blush, bronzer, things like that. And then the other category will be the face palettes that have all that stuff, but it also includes eyeshadows. So I'm going to separate this into the first category, which is face stuff only, and then we'll get started. Okay, so in no particular order, I have my face only face palettes here, and I'm just gonna start from the top here. The first one that I have here is this Kat Von D Alchemist holographic palette. I believe that you can use this on your eyes or on your face, and I bought this at Marshall's for $7.99 a while back. We'll put that away. And this is what the palette looks like. As you guys can see, it has 3 shades. These 3 are almost, they'll look all white, and then the one little lavender in the middle. But this is a little bit green. This is a little bit like champagne-y, pinky color, and this one's a little bit more blue. I know the camera picks up different colors, but that's this one. And then I have this one from Becca by Chrissy Teigen. I know she did a collab with them a few years ago, and that's what this guy looks like. 2 highlighters, a blush, and a bronzer. I've swatched them, but I haven't really used them much. Then I have 2 of the Urban Decay. Oh, before I forget, things that are in my products I want to use up in 2023 or products that I'm currently panning. I'm not going to show them to you guys because you've already seen them, but they will be included in the numbers. So per se, I'm showing you 2 of these flush palettes from the Urban Decay Naked line, but I actually have 3, but one of them is in my products I'm going to use up in 2023. That's why it's not here in this shot. I hope that made sense. Anyway, I have these 2 here. This one is in the color Naked, and this is in the color Streak. They're basically the same thing, with the only change being the different color of blush. But other than that, the highlighter and the bronzer, I feel like, are the same color. So that's these 2. Then I have this one from Lorac. This was a collection from the Pirates of the Caribbean collection. And this is what this guy looks like. It has a bronzer, several highlighters, and 1 blush, or what I would consider a blush. And again, they've been swatched, but haven't been used. Another palette from Becca, the Be a Light palette. It's a face palette that kind of has products that are kind of reminiscent or similar, wannabe, to the Hourglass powders. You see, you get a bronzer, a blush, a highlighter, and a face powder. So that's that one. This one from Bobbi Brown, you get 3 shimmer bricks in here. You get a blush, highlighter, and a bronzer. And I think that's just what it's called, Shimmer Brick Palette. This one from Kat Von D, this is the Shade and Light palette. I bought it also at Marshall's. And as you guys can see, this one's brand new. I debated whether to use this one or my ABH one for my Instagram Panda palette. But I think the one from ABH had less product. So that's why I cheated a little bit and went with this guy. This one from Sephora. This is the blush palette. And as you guys can see, you get, well, I'm not going to open it, but you guys can see there's several blushes. And I would say that this one right here might be a highlighter. Yeah, so that's this one. Very, very shiny palette here from NARS. This is a blush and bronzer palette. Very, very pretty. Haven't used it. I should stop saying that because you guys know most of these haven't been used. And then this one is also similar to the ABH palette. This is a contour palette. And yeah, maybe this is the one that had more product than the shade. I don't think, I'm confusing it with the Shade and Light. I don't think I meant to pan this one, since the ABH and this one are very similar in packaging. I feel like I went with the ABH because this one has more product. The pans are bigger in this one, I believe. Yeah, I think the other ones are just 3 grams and this is 3.4. So that's why, but it's basically the same thing. Then I have the Charlotte Tilbury. I'll show you guys the package. This is very pretty. I bought this a couple of years ago during a Nordstrom anniversary sale. And it's a very pretty palette. I've contemplated panning this. But there's just other products that have beat me to it. How much product is in here? Oh, they're not that very big. Less than 3 grams. So this should be pretty easy for me to pan. Then I have this one from Milani. This is a blush palette, but I feel like you get several blushes, a couple of highlighters here down the middle, maybe a bronzer here, and then these other 2 highlighters. This looks kind of a little brown, but it looks more pinky in person. So that's this one. Then I have the another palette from NARS. This is the Bourre de Plague. Is that terrible pronunciation? Probably. But this is just highlighters and bronzers, as you guys can see. Very, very pretty. Oh, get in there, you guys. Then the Cali Contour from Smashbox. I'm not going to open it, but that's what it looks like. You get a couple of bronzers and blush, contours, highlighters, things like that. Then I have a holographic palette from Sephora. Also, I'm not going to open it. You get these 6 shades, and then you can mix them and match. I think these are like blushes, and then you can use these to change the tone of the blushes. So it's a nice palette to experiment with, I think. Then I'm going to move these out of the way a little bit. And then we have my big face palettes. These are new for me. The Physicians Formula All-Star Face Palette. I think it's All I Want Is to Pan or something like that. Her name is on Instagram. She panned this one, or maybe the one on the bottom that I have here, but she panned it, and I was like, oh my gosh, you make me want to pan this palette. So maybe soon. You get face products, bronzers, blushes, highlighters, and a face powder. Very, very pretty. And it's a nice way to use several products from Physicians Formula. This is the other one. This is the Butter Dream Team Face Palette. And same concept, couple of bronzers, blushes, and highlighters. 1 highlighter and the face powder right there. Then I have 3 of the Benefit Cheekathon cheek palettes or whatever. This is the oldest one, the first one they came out with. You get 5 full-size products, and that's the first one. You get a few blushes and then a bronzer. Then this one right here from the Cheerleaders Pink Squad. It's the second one they released, I believe. You get 3 blushes, the bronzer again, but a different blush right here. I don't think, oh yeah, Tico is a highlighter. Yeah, so you get 3 blushes, a highlighter, and the bronzer. And the last one that I purchased is the Cheek Stars Reunion Tour. You get 1, 2, 3. I think is Dallas a blush or a bronzer? I can't remember. But regardless, you get another highlighter right there in the color Cookie. So that's this one. And those are my face palettes. Now let's go to part 2 or section 2 to talk about the face palettes that have eyeshadows in them. So here are my face palettes. I'm going to talk about this palette because you guys can see it's very reflective, and I want to get it out of the shot before it's too distracting. But this is the Tarte Pineapple palette. I don't know the name of it, but that's what I call it because it's shaped as a pineapple. But in this, you have, if I can open it, you have one side that has the face products, 3 blushes, and a bronzer. And then on this side, you have the eyeshadows. As you guys can see, this palette has been used a little bit. You guys can see the use here in some of these shades. A couple of years ago, I did something called 1 month, 1 palette, just to kind of start rotating through my eyeshadow collection. But I just didn't like that, and that wasn't appealing for me. Seeing all my palettes without any progress was kind of a downer for me. So I did away with that. But anyway, as you guys can see, this palette was used. Really enjoyed it. And yeah, this is super cute packaging. And I'm going to get this out of the way because I don't want to blind you guys. Now for the rest of the stuff here. This is the Becca, what is this called? Eyelights palette. It's supposed to be an eye palette, but this has a lot of shades that are highlighters. You have Opal, Moonstone, Pearl, Topaz, and then rose quartz, hot cocoa, and toasted marshmallow. So I feel like a lot of these, though you can use them on your eyes, I feel like a lot of them are actual face products. So that's why I have it in my face palette category. Then I have this little one by Tarte, styled by Harush. Was a collab with somebody, some influencer, I don't know who they are, but 6 eyeshadows and a full-size blush, very pretty. Then this Backtalk palette from Urban Decay. I should have taken this out of the box before I started filming this, sorry, I forgot. But this is one of those double-ended type products, not double-ended, but double-sided. I don't know what I'm trying to say. You guys know what I mean, kind of. This top line has eyeshadows and then face products here, 1 highlighter, and then 3 blushes. So very, very pretty palette. I thought about using this as my Panda palette. You know how I used the face palette from Urban Decay last year, but I'm glad that I did this, that I chose that palette instead of this one. Then this one from Lorac. It has 6 eyeshadows, 2 highlighters, and a blush. I used to have 2 of these, but I gave 1 away. Then the Revolution Lips palette, the Needs from Emily Noel. I bought it to support her. As you guys can see, it is still shrink wrapped. I haven't used it. This has 6 eyeshadows, blush, highlighter, bronzer, and a face powder. I have 2 palettes from The Balm. Both of them have had the cream product used up. I did try to use them up because these palettes were kind of getting old. I just didn't X these out. But if you follow me along, you would have seen me use them up. This first one is the Bon Jovi. This one has 12 eyeshadows, a highlighter, and a blush. Whereas the Bon Voyage has 9 eyeshadows, 2 bronzer, 2 blushes, 1 highlighter, and a bronzer. That looks kind of a dark bronzer there. Be kind of scared to use it. Then I have this one from Fenty Beauty by Rihanna. I'm not going to take it out. You guys can see the colors here. You're supposed to be able to use this on your face and your eyes as well. So there you have it. I do count the colors though in the face category for, you know, the numbers wise. Then I have this one from BH Cosmetics, the Carly Bible Deluxe Edition palette. You get some eyeshadows in here and a bunch of chunky, they look pretty chunky highlighters. So there you have it. And then last but not least, I have this Melissa Michelle by Ulta Beauty, or for Ulta Beauty. I never know how to say it. You get 9 eyeshadows, a bronzer or a blush, and a highlighter. So this used to have a lip product, which I did use up already. And yeah, I just need to use up the packaging. So there you have it, guys. These are my face products that I have in my collection. I enjoy having face palettes because you can use, it saves you a lot of space in your like storage when you're getting on your everyday ready. When you're getting ready every day in your everyday routine. And it's nice to have one thing that you can reach for several things, you know? And unfortunately, I'm noticing that like most of these do have like mirrors in them. But the 2 palettes that I'm using right now, the ABH Contour palette and the Urban Decay She-Hulk palette, which is my Panda palette, they don't have mirrors on either packaging. So I'm finding it very annoying that I can't use the palette, that they don't have a mirror in the palette. But anyway, that is neither here nor there. This is it for my makeup collection for my face palettes. Stay tuned because we're moving on to eyes next. And thank you for watching. Bye.